Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman garu, Honorable Union Finance Minister as well as for Corporate Affairs, Shri Dr. Lau Rataya garu, Chancellor, Professor P. Nagbhushan garu, Vice Chancellor, Raghunathan garu, Registrar, Sri Krishna Devarayalo, MP as well as Vice Chairman, Srimati Koneri Hampi, Padma Shri and Arjuna Awardee winner, we are all aware, Dr. S.P. Vasireddy garu, Dr. Subbarao Pauluri garu, all the students who have come here to officially graduate and their proud parents, dignitaries on the dais, executive council members, people from around this place, అందరికి కూడా నా హృదయపూర్వక నమస్కారాలు తెలియజేస్తాము. Good to see all the students wearing the Mysore Peti. This is actually worn by the Maharaja of Mysore, but probably more popular because it was worn by Vishwesvaraya garu. But still, good to see the Indianness, just as Krishna was saying. I am delighted today to be here, as well as I take it as a personal honor for being part of this function. I congratulate all the students who are going to graduate. My special wishes to the meritorious students, regards to the faculty members, and also to the Chancellor and Vice Chancellor for giving their valuable guidance. More importantly, to all the proud parents who have come to see their children graduate today. I saw the advertisement in the paper today. It says 46 years of trust. My God, that's half a century. So I really have to congratulate Dr. Lau Rataya garu. That's half a century. And after coming into the campus, probably the first time I'm coming here, I was surprised. This looks like an actual university. This is an actual university with a sprawling grounds and buildings, and apart from each other with lot of greenery, trees, landscaping. This is how I think universities ought to be. Regarding Dr. Rataya garu, from here, first generation educationist, a visionary, because when we were students, I was in Hyderabad, but we always thought if we have to do private education, in those days, I'm talking about 3 decades ago, it was Rataya garu Institute. The vision that he has and the firm believer in the power of education. In fact, while he was speaking, it was surprising, but at the same time, very appreciative to see him speak about SDGs. Normally, sustainable development goals is something that is spoken in either government or in the corporate world. But this has to be appreciated. That is the sort of vision that we can see in Rataya garu's education and systems. At the same time, we also today are extremely honored and privileged because the chief guest of today's function, Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman garu, even though all of us are aware of who she is and her contribution, but because I had the opportunity to interact and also be there in close quarters on many occasions, including the GST Council, including the difficult COVID times, including the finance meetings, etc. I definitely have to, it's my duty to tell you all about certain aspects of ma'am's functioning. Krishna actually gave a very good description, narrative back then. She's actually a symbol, you can even say an epitome of success, dignity, poise, and is the pride of the nation, especially South India and Andhra Pradesh. Many odds, against many odds, a woman who has risen up to be a Minister of State for Commerce with independent charge, Minister, first woman Minister for Defense, and then Finance Minister during difficult times. The Make in India concept and Atmanirbhar that we see today, you can attribute most of it to ma'am. A fierce nationalist and also a very strong and pure nationalist, you can say. Simplicity, honesty, and she's very respectful to rules and conventions that are in vogue. Her vision I've seen during various interactions is always long term. She never looks at short term benefits or today's benefits. Even if it is painful, it is long term. And her vision also is strong infra. Nothing that is revenue, mostly capital in nature. Traditions and customs, the way she respects traditions and customs, I have watched from close quarters. I am proud today to say that ma'am is our finance minister. In fact, her passion for customs and traditions is such that once when ma'am had come to Tirupati, I had the opportunity to be there. So while speaking, she said, Bugana garu, Telugu has got such beautiful culture, arts. Why don't you have some sort of a function every year to not only have competitions but also to honor people who have a background of art and culture? This is the sort of very intricate thinking that ma'am has, and at the same time, as Krishna just said, complex issues, very complex issues, she takes time to understand. And I've also noticed that anything that she's not sure of, she very patiently asks and gets to know. No pretensions. No pretension at all about normal, I would say, people at a certain levels. You pretend that you know, even if you don't know. But ma'am has no pretension. It is just that if she knows, she knows. Otherwise, she asks. Compassion. Compassion is to the core. Again, here I have to say, ma'am doesn't just simply say something to somebody just to keep them happy. Whatever she does, whatever she says, it actually has to fructify, materialize. Only if something is going to materialize, only then does ma'am actually give a commitment. And again, as I told you, this commitment is always something that is long-term in nature. In fact, to the state, I have to publicly acknowledge on the dais that ma'am has been a huge strength to the state of Andhra Pradesh in recent years. It is because of ma'am's advice, ma'am's guidance, and ma'am's help that Andhra Pradesh state today is able to face and cross so many hurdles that we have bequeathed, the legacy hurdles that have come. If not for her, it would have been very difficult for the state. And the issues that are long term, now for example, because it's a function ceremony to do with education, I have to tell you, Indian Institute of Foreign Trade, Kakinada, Indian Institute of Packaging, Vizag, and more recently, National Academy of Customs, Central Excise and Narcotics, NACEN in Palasamudram. See, we have the premium institutions in the country. Mussoorie is for the IAS, Vallabhbhai Patel Academy for the IPS. Similarly, for the IRS, it is National Academy in Palasamudram. Where is Palasamudram? Probably very few of us will actually know where Palasamudram is. It is just into the Andhra border from Karnataka while traveling from in the one of the most backward parts of not this state, of the country. Anantapur district has the least rainfall after Jaisalmer in Rajasthan. Ma'am made it a point to have this prestigious institution that is not only going to serve just this country but the entire Southeast Asian and Asian region in Palasamudram of Andhra Pradesh. This is ma'am's vision. In my personal case, my constituency Doon, again one of the most backward constituencies. I asked ma'am once, ma'am, can I have a KV, Kendriya Vidyalaya? Immediately she said, why not? Why not? In 2 months flat, there is a Kendriya Vidyalaya sanctioned for zone. So this is ma'am's vision for you. I have to put forward all of this because of the contribution that ma'am actually has done to the state. And today, regarding the 3 people who are going to be conferred the honorary doctorate of Dr. Subbarao, Pauluri Subbarao Garu, from here, as the Chancellor just mentioned, aerospace engineering and applications. He himself is a BSc engineering, ME and PhD, a first generation entrepreneur from a agriculture family. After 15 years of working in ISRO, he's on his own now with Anant Technologies established by him. More importantly, when I read about his contribution to providing basic and quality education to the tribals, Adivasis and the downtrodden, I thought he is one of the people who will definitely inspire all the students who are going to graduate today. And then Dr. SP Vasireddy. In fact, I am a small client of Dr. SP Vasireddy. For a very long time, more than 2 decades, I have a small mineral business, so I send all my testing to Vimta Labs. Previously, we had to go to SNN company in Interlab in Chennai. After Vimta Labs was established in Hyderabad, all of us here in Andhra Pradesh had the opportunity. So once again, a great achievement. And then comes Koneru, Srimati Koneru Hampi, a star. She doesn't need any introduction, I think. You name the award, she already has it. So 3 of you, actually, it is a great idea to have them being conferred the doctorates along with you two. And to the children, I would say, just like how we graduated decades ago, it's like you just want to get out of college. Enough of books, enough of study, get out of college. But I would tell you, it doesn't end there. As Krishna just said, there's so much of opportunity now. There's so much of opportunity. There's so many dreams. You have to pursue your dreams. But I would suggest that whatever you're passionate about, just do what you're passionate about, and whatever you do it with all your heart put into it. And to inspire, I would take one example. There's one lovely film. It's called A Boy Who Harnessed the Power of the Wind. I don't know how many of you have seen it. A Boy Who Harnessed the Power of the Wind. It's about William Kamkwamba from a very poor country called Malawi in Africa. How this boy in the village actually builds a small windmill and then changes not only his life but also the entire economy of the place that he is in. Andhra Pradesh as a state, we have spent quite a lot, invested quite a lot of effort, money, etc. on education. This is because of our Honorable Chief Minister Jagan Mohan Reddy Garu's vision again on educating our children. We have spent close to about, I think, 70,000 crores on education, by way of close to 26,000 crores in this last 4 years on incentivizing the mothers to send their children to school. We've spent on fee reimbursement alone about 11,317 and 4,000, 15,000 crores in all on fee reimbursement, as well as providing hostel facilities. And the nutritious food that we give to the children in the Anganwadis, we have spent about 4,000 crores. And then we have spent for the midday meals about 6,000 and odd crores. And Nadu Nedu, a prestigious program where we actually redo the entire schools so that they're also good and at par with the private and corporate schools. In the first phase of Nadu Nedu, that is redoing the entire school, civil infrastructure and otherwise, we have spent about 3,700 crores to redo 15,700 schools. In the phase 2, we are spending about 8,000 crores and about 22,344 schools. And in phase 3, the balance out of the 53,000 schools will be spending about 17,000 crores. And with this, the relevance of this again is about 3,000 crores we have received as help from Government of India. Ma'am has started during the difficult COVID times a scheme called Special Assistance to the States. So any state that spends money on capital assets, any expenditure capital in nature, we get a help in the form of a very long-term loan from Government of India. This again is ma'am's vision and ma'am's idea of kicking the economy up during COVID. So this is the sort of money that we've been spending on education. And lastly, with the faculty, I was actually quite happy to notice the NCC, because of late what we are noticing is tutoring is happening in the educational institutions, but very little mentoring is happening. So previously, if you look at the original Indian system of Gurukul education, so Gurukul education always had mentoring along with tutoring. And the sort of facilities that were given, as well as the interaction between the teacher and the student, is of utmost importance. Recently, I had an opportunity to visit various educational institutions and universities abroad. So I got to visit Harvard, MIT, Stanford, Duke, and very recently Oxford. I was amazed to see the amount of money that is spent on education and higher education in those countries. Take United States, for example. You have the best of the universities. Because you have the best of the universities, you have the best of the students from all over the world going there. So it is like skimmed milk, you get the cream. That cream goes there, and in that cream again you skim it, then that is the talent that is there. That is the reason that USA is where it is today. This was what Gurukuls was in India long, long ago. Nalanda, Takshila, Nagarjuna. So I think we have to get there, and during certain conversations with ma'am also said same thing, education is of utmost importance. And with the NCC, I was also very pleased to see, because civics, moral science, SUPW, and then SUPW, for example, in school, we had sewing, then we had gardening. So we always used to think, what do we get by learning to stitch buttons? In that age, we think, what do we get to learn stitch buttons? But later on, we realize it's not just about stitching buttons. It is about being self-reliant. What do we learn by gardening? It is not about gardening and cleaning. It is about dignity of labor. In fact, during the formative years, I would want to give you one more anecdote. My father, who himself was a product of IIT Kharagpur, he was a chemical engineer, but he came back and settled down in the village as a village sarpanch. So he told me during my formative years and while I was in college, I have two sons. It is actually my duty to send at least one to the army in the service of the nation, but I was selfish enough not to send any of them. I remembered this, and later on, after graduating, it strongly struck into me. I thought, if not army, let me serve the nation in some other way. So I've chosen politics as that sort of a service to the nation. The reason I'm telling you this is, academics is good, but post-academics, we always have to remember the country that has given us this, the parents who have given us this, and our duty and obligation both to the parents as well as the country. So once again, I wish you all the students the best in your lives, to take your dreams forward, to work towards your dream, and once again, all the best. Thank you. Jai Hind.